Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. Many people are buying IBIT as a Bitcoin play too. Abu Dhabi's sovereign wealth fund, they bought basically $500 million worth of IBIT. And they probably hold some strategy shares too. Right? So these are, not direct buys of Bitcoin, but the next best thing. And in case of IBIT, it is really good because IBIT or BlackRock is forced to buy Bitcoin, right? So it is directly good for Bitcoin and for strategy too. If you buy strategy stock, what is Saylor going to do? He's going to use that money to buy Bitcoin anyway. So in a nutshell, it's good for Bitcoin too. All right. So these are all good. What else is good? The Central Bank of Russia reported that the best asset, the best performing asset out there by far is Bitcoin. This is from their central bank. And I can't understand all that, but I can understand the S&P 500, the US Treasury bond. They're both in the negative. Bitcoin is the only one there in the positive. And all these other ones, probably companies or, other asset classes, whatever, nothing outperforms Bitcoin. So again, sometimes Bitcoin goes down. Sometimes there's volatility. And there's people in the live chat that's like, why is Bitcoin crashing? It's not crashing. Bitcoin's doing just fine. We're at 104,000. It's doing good, especially when you compare it to all the other asset classes out there. They're not doing so good, right? So even central banks are recognizing that. That is why so many want Bitcoin exposure, because they now know that. And there's no fears like before that, okay, Bitcoin is going to disappear, it's going to be shut down, all this tulip bubble talk, it's all gone. Now the whole world has simply embraced the fact that Bitcoin is here to stay. It's never going to go away. That says a lot. That says a lot. And that is why it is a race to the top. Everyone is accumulating as much as possible. When I say everyone that understands, okay? But obviously on the planet, most people do not understand. 99.9% of the population do not understand. Very little people hold Bitcoin still. It seems like everyone does, but very little amount of the population does. So if you hold anything, even 0.1 Bitcoin, which is still impressive now, you hold 0.1 Bitcoin, that's $14,000 for the Bitcoin. Back in the day, 0.1 Bitcoin was like, $1,000. Now 0.1 Bitcoin is worth $14,000. To have a whole Bitcoin is to have $104,000, which is not easy by any measure at all. To be a whole coiner these days is very impressive. Very little amount of people out there can just go buy a single Bitcoin, but you can do so by dollar cost averaging, right? But these big boys I've been talking about, it is a race to the top. That's why Larry Fink is buying so much, why Saylor is buying so much, why all these guys are buying so much. So this company, DDC, is going to adopt a Bitcoin strategy, a Bitcoin reserve, plans on buying 5,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot. Again, people in the know, people that understand, are going to acquire as much as they can. Here's another one. I don't know what this group is, but they are NASDAQ. They're listed on the NASDAQ. They announced an 800 million plan to acquire Bitcoin and the Trump coin. I don't know about why they're doing that to gain the favor of Trump, I guess. But still, they're doing it. They're doing it. Here's another one. A Brazilian listed company is putting $28 million of Bitcoin in their treasury. One after another, after another, after another, after another. This is going to add up to something. You're not just going to have endless accumulation and nothing happens. No, because of the scarcity factor, there's only limited amount of supply out there. This is all adding up, which is why Tom Lee, let's listen to what he has to say.
I mean, Bitcoin is a little bit like a Swiss Army knife because it really does meet the fact that it's a risk-on asset, but it's a network value asset. And I think that as more people adopt Bitcoin, it still explains most of the increase in price. And of course, it's a great safe haven asset. I mean, I think for the next 10 years, I think the easiest way to think of Bitcoin is that it should have the same network value as gold. And gold, if it's a $23-30 trillion asset, that means Bitcoin should be at least $1.5 million per Bitcoin.
People would love to hear that.
$1 million to $1.5 million for each Bitcoin. That's where it's going. Just to equal the market cap of gold. There's a lot more gold out there than there is Bitcoin. And to equal the market cap of gold, each Bitcoin is going to go to 1 to 1.5 million. And that's only the beginning. Saylor believes Bitcoin will eventually go to 13 million. So don't think the gains are limited with Bitcoin. A lot more gains. This is within the next 10 years. And it could be sooner than that. And even JP Morgan says Bitcoin is going to outshine gold in the second half of 2025. And over the course of any extended period, it's not even close. Bitcoin outshines gold in any period, really, with the exception of maybe during consolidation periods or crypto winter. Yes, maybe gold outshines Bitcoin. But if you go back any sort of period, long period, I guess, extended period, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, it's not even close. Bitcoin outshines, which is the reason why so many are embracing Bitcoin. It's a great store of value. It's an awesome medium exchange, and it's the best hedge against inflation because nothing outperforms Bitcoin on a long period, over a long course. Nothing. But before we hit $1.5 million, what is the high of this cycle? Well, there's a couple points here. 2 key levels to watch. There's something called a delta top and a terminal price. And both are right around $215,000, $216,000. And these are the points that the last few cycles where Bitcoin topped out at.